What's the funniest lie you ever got away with? When I was 15, I accidentally signed up for advanced calculus instead of regular math. I realized my mistake on the first day when the teacher started talking about derivatives and integrals like we already knew what they were. Everyone else was nodding along, taking notes, while I sat there completely lost. I was too embarrassed to admit I didn't belong there, so I decided to fake it until I could figure out how to switch classes. For 3 weeks, I pretended to understand everything. I'd nod thoughtfully during lectures, scribble random equations in my notebook, and always sit in the middle of the classroom so I wouldn't get called on. I even started whispering things like, "chain rule, right?" under my breath during problem solving to sound like I was tracking. When we got our first test back, I somehow managed to get a 23%. The teacher, Mr. Rodriguez, asked me to stay after class. I panicked. This was it. He was going to expose me as a fraud in front of everyone. But when he approached me, he had this concerned look on his face and said, "I can tell you're struggling with some personal issues at home. Math scores often drop when students are dealing with family problems." I had no idea where he got that from, but I went with it. I nodded sadly and said, "Yeah, it's been really tough lately." He patted my shoulder and said he'd give me extra time on assignments and maybe some tutoring sessions. For the rest of the semester, whenever I blew a test or couldn't solve a problem, I'd just look a little sad and he'd give me extensions or easier versions. I even started doodling abstract shapes in my margins to make it look like I was distracted by emotional stress rather than complete confusion. The weirdest part? He started praising my resilience during class, saying I was a quiet fighter. I ended up getting a B- in advanced calculus without learning a single thing about calculus. Years later, I found out he thought my parents were getting divorced because I always looked confused and stressed in his class. The truth was, I was just terrible at math and too proud to admit I didn't belong there.